Hello and welcome along to Bunch of Punt's Betting Podcast, your specialist show for football Longshots. Bets joining me as ever, Matthew O'Regan. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Mentally, not physically well, but mentally I'm all good.
What's happened then? What you done?
Bennett's fracture in my left thumb, so my arm's in a cast, and then 2 fractures in my right wrist. That's in strapping, so it's been a painful week.
Shit. Tell everyone how you did it.
I managed to have 6 weeks in Asia with no accident.
It's unbelievable.
Land back on a Saturday morning, get home, hour changed, straight to the pub for the Brighton game, and straight to London after for my mate's birthday. Then after the pub, me and my mate were racing, and then I stacked it. I fell in slow motion and sort of braced my fall and stacked it. I spent the whole of Sunday in A&E in London, and they told me about the fracture. So yeah, I'm out of action for a few weeks, but I found some tools where I can speak to text, so that's been helping me a lot with typing.
I can't believe you've been travelling Asia for 6 weeks and you land back in England and do a serious injury.
I'd rather it be here than abroad though. Like at least I waited till I was back.
Yeah, I hope you get better soon, buddy. How long you got the cast on for?
No idea. I'm awaiting surgery on my left thumb because the thumb makes up like 50% of all sort of logistics of the hand, like most of the movements and everything. So I'm in for surgery some point in the next week or so, and then it'll be 6 to 8 weeks, maybe. I don't know.
Fucking hell. Well, speedy recovery. That's just unbelievable. I can't believe it. Last week podcast bets. I did a magic trick how to make all the profit from the first week disappear. I was still 2.35 points up, but I had no winners last weekend. Xhaka didn't get a card. Swansea won, but both teams didn't score. That's my own fault. They were over 2-1. I shouldn't have been greedy. Over 4.5 goals in Ipswich Southampton looked like it was on 2 goals in the first half. And then there were none in the second half. And I'm just looking at yours. Oh, we need to address Cray Valley at Whitehawk. Do you remember what happened with that one?
Yeah, it was a weird one. So I watched it when they came out and they were like 5-1 or something. And obviously with how volatile the non-league markets can be, I was like, oh wait, that's a big price. The minute I touch it or send it to anyone, it's going to drop. So I was like, I'll wait for it to settle a bit, and it dropped a bit without me touching it. I was like, okay, this is fine, this is a big prize. Tips it up, and then again, this was available for a couple of days, and I tipped up in premium, my VIP, the +1 handicap, Asian handicap, and then it instantly removed it from the market, and then got a message saying they palked it, and they shortened it to like 2.5 for the win, from 5.25 or something, and it was the same price at other bookies, and I think Bet365 just shut themselves. Luckily, because the bet ended up losing, they lost 3-2, so the handicap would have refunded and the bet lost. But I think Bet365 are just stupid now, like just Timpot nowadays. But yeah, they just shit themselves and palked it.
Yeah, it feels illegal. I got the email.
I can understand it in certain markets. Say they accidentally priced Salah to score at like 7-1. That's an obvious palp mistake. But this one wasn't. It was a price that was too big, but you get that quite a bit. It wasn't an obvious power-up. I think they've just realised that they sort of priced it better than they should have and shit them pants.
Yeah, but it's a gripe at how bookies in gambling is these days. It's like me and you have missed the golden era by a long way, but it's just a sorry reflection on the state of play, especially from 365. It used to be one of the best in the business. I can't believe that. It doesn't feel legal changing a bet that you took on a 1x2. But for clarity, it's easy saying this now it hasn't won, but we swear to God, we have not tracked this. I've put it as a void because like the whole point is about sharing bets that are going to win, and if no one can get on them, honest to God, if it would have been 100-1, whatever, we just cannot in good conscience put it as a winner. So that has been voided. And you can hold me to that when we have similar circumstances happen again. Promise you, that's been voided. It would have been voided if it won. I'm just looking at your results. You had a win to nil double, I think. Swindon and Stevenage and MK Dons doing the do, just under 5-1. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, shame I only had a half a point on it though, compared to a lot of other.
No, it's a winner. Only one of last week, so we take it. And I think that means we're about 3.2 points profit for the long shots this season. I'm also going to throw you in the direction of the locks of the week. 4 picks, 3 winners, 4.22 points profit. I'm the only one to let the side down. I went overs in that Ipswich-Southampton game. It was Southampton-Ipswich, sorry, 1-1 at half time. No other goals, so we would have had a clean sweep. Sorry, if one of them could have scored in the second half. But that's motoring around along nicely, and I think we'll have a couple of selections for that in your inbox Friday afternoon, sometime then. And the newsletter is good as well, because what we've been doing, we can do extra ones, non-league ones that we wouldn't include here. Matthew's heading up that, and any bets that we forget or like we suddenly think of, we can just ping them in an inbox. Have a look on our Twitter, a bunch of punts or Matthew's or mine, because we're constantly posting the link on that. You'll just get email straight to your inbox. For example, Newcastle play Liverpool on Monday. I haven't properly looked ahead to that one, but come Sunday, even Monday morning, we might find something for that game. So
same with Forest Palace as well. That'll be a big one for cars, and it's again one I haven't had the luxury of looking at yet. So we should have some long shots for that.
Exactly, and I suppose we haven't done it yet, but we could always even wait on team news with the newsletter. We can just ping one straight out if we've got something. So it's probably worth subscribing to, and it gives us the opportunity to do something like not long shot bets, and it's going all right so far. But it's gambling in it, so it could all go tits up. But yeah, Twitter is the place to subscribe to that. Shall we get into this week's then? Non-league nerds to kick us off.
Yes, I've got 3 this week. Nothing really at step 3 stood out. So I've got 1 from National League and 2 from the South. In the National League, I've gone Solihull to win, and both seem to score against Aldershot at 4. Solihull were a side in the magazine I talked about where I really like their recruitment. I really like their team. Didn't rate Taylor as a manager, but they've had a strongish start to the season. 3 points from 3 draws, but one of the draws was home to Forest Green with 10 men, 2-2, and away to Carlisle, who were one of the title favourites. They drew 1-1 and held Sutton to a goalless draw, so both team scores landed in 2. And the hosts and Aldershot side, who have been absolutely diabolical this season, they've lost all 3 of their games in the league 3-2, and they also lost 2-1 to Brighton under 21s, basically the under 18s, and the National League Cup. They are shocking at the back, so it could be a long season. So I'm happy to back both team score or overs every time Aldershot are playing. So at 4s, it's a far too big a price. Then I've gone Hampton and Richmond to beat Dagenham and Redbridge at 4.5. Dagenham are sort of my non-league Notts County in terms of, well, Notts County this year being priced a bit better, but last year Notts County were always so overpriced, and Dagenham was sort of replicating that in the National League South. The host started with a 0-0 draw with Salisbury before winning 3-0 at Dorking, which was a big shock. They then lost 2-0 at Maidstone, so they've had a really tough start, but they're chugging along quite nicely, and they host a Dagenham side who I think are very, very overrated. They lost 2-0 against Ebbsfleet on opening day, drew 0-0 at Salisbury, and drew 2-2 at home to Tonbridge, who are quite poor. So I just don't rate the Daggers at all, and I think they're far too short. And then final non-league one is Hemel Hempstead to beat Dorking at 3.6. Hemel were very, very strong at home under Allison last season. I think only losing twice. 3 times. One of them was final game of the season where they just rotated heavily, gave the youngsters a lot of time. They took 5 points from the opening 3, including a draw at recently relegated Maidenhead and at home to last year's playoff final defeatist Maidstone. They played Dorking side, who were favourites again up the league, but they've had a slow start. They drew at Chippenham and then lost 3-0 at home to Hampton. They did then go with Batterslough, winning 2-0. Could have been way, way more. But again, with Hemel at 3.6, I'm sort of having to side with them because with their home record, I think they're very, very nice price.
Lovely stuff. Why do you hate Dagenham and Red so much?
I don't. It's just they were priced as priced as 2.4 faves or something, which was ridiculously short, and I just don't understand why the bookies favour them, just why the bookies like them so much. I don't think they even making the playoffs. I sort of said that in the magazine, and to be that short constantly, I just don't understand it. I've also got another bet I completely forgot to tip. When I was just scrolling down, also like Ebbsfleet to win to nil against Slough at 3.5. Slough have played 3, drawn 1, lost 2 without scoring. Ebbsfleet have won all 3 games without conceding. So yeah, 3.5 for Ebbsfleet to win and both teams to score no against Slough. Completely flawed.
I'm just putting it in the record now. Nice. Ebbsfleet v Slough. Boom. Nice. Nice little bonus one there.
This will not be beaten. 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 It's going to get beaten.
Right, into naps and all that from the Football League. I'm going to go back to Friday night. Derby are playing Bristol City. And this one feels too good to be true. I wish I would have made a note of Scott Twine's price to score from outside the box in other games. It probably would have been similar to 1 to score from outside the box against Derby on Friday night, and is a set-piece specialist. Of course, he scored a wonderful free kick at Bramall Lane in Bristol City's opening game last 4 seasons, and half of his 16 goals have come from outside the area, as have 101 of his 182 shots. So it's all promising. Lewis Baker scored from outside the box for Stoke against Derby. They conceded 9 times from distance last season. They've also conceded 11 shots from outside the box this season. That's 34% of their total, and I think around the 7th most in the Championship. And last season, 39% of the shots that they conceded came from outside the box as well. And looking at how Eustace plays, although it hasn't really been the case this season, they look all at sea defensively. But usually Eustace teams sort of tough to beat, rigid shape, and it just seems to me like it makes sense that they'd invite shots from range. And looking at the stats, for the most part, that seems to be true. So, bit of a punt, half a point, Scott Twine to score from outside the box, half a point on that for Friday night. Where are you taking us next?
Yeah, sticking with the Championship here, and I've got a card bet in Watford Swansea. It's Edo Kayembe to be booked at 4s. He's now in his 5th season at Watford, and he looks to be a key component of the Hornets midfield again after making 44 league appearances last campaign. He only played 18 minutes against Charlton in the opener, but he started the cup game against Norwich and league game against QPR, being booked in both. He averaged 0.25 cars per 90 last year, so based on that, the car price is about right. But it's sort of an angle I've been waiting to play for ages on the pod, and I finally got the opportunity. Alec Yalakai has joined Swansea, a player we signed from Gothenburg. I think he was winning about 3.5 hours per 90 at Gothenburg, and on loan at Sturm Graz in Austrian League last season was fouled 3.21 times per 90. He was fouled twice on debut against Sheffield United in his 62 minutes, and 2 Sheffield United midfielders were booked. So yeah, he's a foul-winning magnet, and Kayembe, considering he's got 2 yellows and 2 starts this season, at 4s opposing him is a very, very nice price for a card.
Lovely stuff. I'll stay with the early kickoffs from Newport against MK Dons, and I'm covering both centre backs who are suspected to start for the visitors to score. That's Jack Sanders, that's at 14s with Sky Bet, and Luke Offord, best price 9s with Bet365, half a point on each. And I can't believe, I feel like I'm late to the party with this because both centre-backs have already scored this season. I'm just such an idiot for missing it. Paul Warren's the manager, set piece. He's a master at set pieces. Rotherham, I've gone from the beginning of 28-19 to the end of 2021 season. It was hard to find the stats before that, even though he took over, I think, in the summer ahead of the 16-17, I think. But from those 3 seasons, so 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, 40% of Rotherham's goals came from set pieces and dead ball situations, which is nuts. And then in his only full season at Derby, 25 of 78 came from dead balls as well. I think MK Dons have scored 3 times from dead balls this season, 3 of 8 goals this season. As I say, both centre-backs have scored already. One of them scored in midweek as well, I think, Tuesday night. Again, it's just annoying because I feel like I've missed the opportunity, but we'll keep rolling with it because 2 main reasons, really. It probably counts for nothing, but Luke Offord netted 3 goals last season. 2 of them came against Newport, who they're playing on Saturday. And Newport are the favourites to be relegated. They've started pretty well, I think, picking up points in half of their 4 games, which is better than expected considering I think they're odds on now to go down. I think they are, but they are the favourites to be relegated. But last season, they were the worst side in terms of expected goals against from set pieces, 24.5 goals expected goals, shipped. So last season, Newport were terrible at set pieces. MK Dons made a pretty good start at set pieces this season. Paul Warner's an absolute master at them. So covering both centre backs, Luke Offord and Jack Sanders, half a point on each. That's in the early kickoff in League Two. Where are we going next?
Yeah, I'm sticking in the Championship with a Sorva Thomas assist at 11. Stoke at Southampton. Thomas had a poor season at Ligue 1 side Nantes, assisting just 3 times, and he was signed by Stoke, and he's excelled so far. He's already matched that total with 3 assists in 2 starts, as well as scoring. He has previous at this level. He assisted 12 times in 46 games in the 21-22 season for Huddersfield, and 9 in the 23-24 season. Robbins is a manager I really like, and at Stoke he's impressed. And Divan Mbamba up front is a unit, and with Southampton are a side that conceded against Ipswich and Wrexham, I'm not sold on them fully defensively. Sorba Thomas's delivery, with Sorba Thomas' delivery, I just think 11s is far too big considering got an assist in both games so far.
It is massive. How much have you had on that? How many points?
A point on that.
I can't believe that price. I think it's wonderful. I really do. I love that bet so much. I'm glad you had a point on it. I lost the spreadsheet. I don't know where we're going to go next. Oh, yeah, we're sticking in the Championship. I'm going to have Millwall to win 2-0 at the Lane. They play Sheffield United. They're 3-1 to win the game. And as if I've learnt nothing from getting greedy, getting against Sheffield United last week, you could just have Millwall to win. But let me tell you why I'm not. I think, it's just a contradiction, but I think the price is probably big enough. It's just Millwall is so fine margin. I could see it being a draw, I could see it being 0-0, I could see it being 1-1. Like, the games are just so fine margin. If we're going to have them to win, I'd rather have them to win at a bigger price. 11-2 bet Victor to win 0. I'm having half a point on that, and it's because I think Millwall have got a chance of a result. Alex Neil, I think there was the 5th best side in the league since he took charge last season. I don't think that you can read too much into the 3-0 when they played Borough last week. Millwall better side first half, Middlesbrough better side in the second half. Based on the balance of play, I think it was probably a draw. Would have been a fair result. Millwall didn't take their chances, Borough did. Rob Edwards' substitutes were good. They made the difference, and that's why they lost. But I don't want to take too much away from that game because, as I say, Millwall were good. Last trip to the Lane, they beat Sheffield United 1-0. And Sheffield United, Sellers hasn't been backed, or at least he hadn't in the first few games of the season. Attacking-wise, Sheffield United do look good, but I think they'll struggle to unpick this defence, to be honest, because it's such a well-drilled side. They've only had 1 shot on target across the last 2 games. Didn't have a shot on target at Southampton. They only had 1 at Birmingham in the Cup, and that was that worldie from Hamer inside the centre circle. So creativity-wise, although Sheffield United's team is good, last 2 games it just hasn't clicked. And I don't know, Tyrese Campbell should play, but Everton are sniffing around him, so it wouldn't be a shock if he's left out of the squad. And he's a major player in our front line, just how selfless he is, how hard he works, how well he runs the channels. So if he is getting touted to the Premier League, then we'll miss him massively this weekend. It is worth noting, it looks like Ben Godfrey is in South Yorkshire to complete a loan move to Sheffield United. We've also signed someone from Scandinavia, Lutterstrom or something. It looks like we're going to sign him, and we're also interested in Tanganga from Millwall, which should patch up the defensive issues. But I can't see any either of those 3 players, any of those 3 players, in fact, being starting on Saturday. Even if they do get over the line before them, they might be involved in the squad, and hell, they might even play from the start. But I just think it's flimsy to not have the bet because of potential signings who we haven't even signed yet, who are probably unlikely that they're even going to feature at the weekend. So, yeah, good organised team coming against one like in the midst of a changing of the guard, changing tactically, changing squad. I just think Millwall, the price is probably too big to win, but I just think it's worth being a little bit greedy and having them to win to nil at 11-2 with Bet Victor. Where are we going next?
Yeah, to League Two now, and sort of a game that when I looked at it, I was like, there's got to be a bet on the podcast for this game. It's Notts County Bromley. I'm obviously always anti Notts County. You're always pro Bromley, and we were both going to pick Bromley, I presume, but they've shortened weirdly since Notts County won 4-1 last night. Bromley have shortened, so I don't want to take them, but I am taking Omar Sowomni, I think it's pronounced, at 13 to score half a point on that. County set piece issues have been glaring. They conceded from dead balls in each of their first 3 league games, and they then let in another from a cross against Shrewsbury. Defensively, they're just all over the place. Between the sticks, Kela Roos is coming to replace Alex Bass, and he is absolutely dog shit. When they signed him, I was thought, number 2. And I read all the comments about him going to be number 1. I don't get it. He was dog shit at Derby and at Aberdeen. He's one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever watched. He stays rooted to he stays rooted to the line, and he's awful at claiming cross and everything. So yeah, Bromley, a big physical side, are going to look to exploit this, especially with Sowomni being 6'6". He already bagged in midweek against Cheltenham, and he'll be licking his lips at the prospect of facing this fragile Notts County defence from corners. So 13 for him to score half a point with Bet365.
Nice, I like it. I am gutted, and it makes, as you said, it makes no sense that Bromley shortened after Notts County beat Shrewsbury 4-1. There was like 3.8, 4-5 about the double chance, which I was going to be all over this weekend, but it is what it is. I can only assume Notts County wasn't as imperious as they should have been against Shrewsbury.
The XG wise, they had less than 1 XG from their 4 goals.
Really?
I was shocked when I read it yesterday when I was doing my write-up. It's like 0.95 XG or something.
Let me just double check that, because that plays right into the hands of this bet I'm about to tip. Yeah, Notts County 0.99 XG. The best shot they had, Ant's goal, was an XG of 0.33. That means they've only had 2 shots this season, that one and Matthew Dennis' equaliser against Barrow that can be considered a big chance, which is of XG over 0.3. That plays right into the hands of the bet. I know Barrow aren't big enough anymore in my eyes to win this game. I wanted them around 5-2, so reluctantly I'm going to have to leave that. But there hasn't been as much reaction as you'd expect there hasn't been any reaction from what I had noted down. Them to win to nil is 11-2. This was always going to be the bet alongside them to win in this game. It hasn't moved at all, so I'm going to stick with that. Notts County, they scored 4 against Shrewsbury, but as Matthews just pointed out, less than 1 XG generated. That suggests they were fortunate. In fact, they failed to rack up at least 1 XG in all 4 of their games so far this season. They scored against Salford with an XG of 0.7. They failed to score against Wigan in the Cup, and they also scored, as I said, against Barrow, the equaliser. They went on to lose that game, but the total XG that day was less than 1. So, on one hand they've scored in 3 or 4 games, but you do a little tiny bit of digging on the underlying data and they've been fortunate. And coming up against Bromley, the absolute masters out of possession, they're not going to give up many chances. In fact, I think last season Bromley played 7 games against the most possession-heavy sides in the division, and they only lost twice. So they'll be happy to frustrate Notts County, and I think it's worth having a punt on them to win 2-0 at is it 11-2? 11-2 with Bet Victor. I'm having half a point on that as well. Where are we going next?
Do you know what I've just thought of? What odds is it for them to win 2-0? To win 1-0 and Sowomni to score.
What is Sowomni best price? 365, did you say?
Yeah.
Let me just check it now. I'm on 365 now. What price are you hoping for? Because they all sort of go in hand, don't they?
Should be 70s maybe.
70s?
Yeah, surely.
If so,
1-0 and him to score.
Yeah, it should be the same regardless, shouldn't it? Because you're doing 1-0. 1-0's tens. So let me just check. My Shawamni. What's honking? Oh, hang on, it's not updating. I thought it was still 10-1. That's not right. So she's doing to score 140s. Yeah, 140s.
Oh, underestimated it. Surely have a quarter point on that.
Shall we?
Quarter point on that.
In the sheet. Lovely. I like that a lot. I was actually thinking for that game to Dutch the 1-0 and 2-0 Bromley correct score, so I'm buzzing with that. I think that's a beautiful bet.
I've gone sticking in League 2, which we were speaking off air before. It's a minefield to bet on in terms of just normal betting, but probably should bet on it more for long shots because it's just so unpredictable. So sort of bodes well for bigger odds. I've gone Grimsby win and both teams score at 5s against Accrington. They've continued their steady rise under Artell. They now sit second in the league after 10 from their opening 4. They battered Crawley 3-0 in the opener. Again, that perhaps could have seen them score more. Drew 3 for it Harrogate thanks to late goals from Rogers and Cabia. And they won 3-1 at home to Shrewsbury in the Carabao Cup before beating Newport 2-1 thanks to a last-minute winner from Green. I watched them against Walsall midweek. They won 1-0 thanks to Evan Curry, but it should have been more. They missed a sitter 1-on-1. They missed a couple of good chances. Also were unlucky not to get on the score sheet. But I was very, very impressed with what I've seen from Grimsby. It's the first time I managed to catch them this season, and they look a very dynamic team, especially with Cabia up front running behind. He offers them so much in behind. And yeah, they play an Accrington team who've taken just 1 point from their opening 3, scoring in 2 of these. And with Artell's side, they should have the lion's share of the possession, but again, they've got the ability to mix it up, sit deep, and go long and behind. So there's a lot to like about this Grimsby side. So I'm taking them win and both teams score at 5s.
Yeah, lovely. I like that pick a lot. Moving up into League 1, in a battle between the two worst defences, you can get over 4.5 goals in Plymouth v Blackpool at 13-2, so 7.5 on Bet Victor. I'm having half a point on that. So Blackpool have shipped 11 goals in the third tier, which is the most. Plymouth have conceded 9 times, which I think is the second most. And Blackpool have conceded 7.1 XG against. Plymouth have conceded 6.5. Now, I know the XG suggests that they've been unlucky to concede as many goals as they have, but looking at the games, they've both played 8 times. They played 8 times between them, and every single game, each team's conceded at least 1 expected goals against, apart from on 1 occasion. So even if they have been unlucky to concede as many as they have, they're still expected to concede at least 1 goal per game. And I just think when 2 of the division's worst defences square off, surely it means we're in for a goal-laden game. So 0-0 incoming, but 3 of Steve Bruce's side's 5 games in all competitions have seen... is it 5 games in all competitions? I'll have to double check that. But 3 of their games this season have seen at least 5 goals, and 2 it's happened in 2 of Plymouth games, and neither have kept a clean sheet yet. So goals are expected. You can get over 2.5 at a shade of even money. That might be on the lock of the week. I'm not decided what my pick is yet, but I think over 4.5 could be a runner as well, and it's 13-2. So half a point on that for me. Is it back down to League 2 now?
Yeah, sticking with League 2 for my final pick. I've gone Swindon over 2.5 goals at 4s for a point, and over 3.5 goals at 11s for half a point. Shrewsbury's problems off the pitch have been well documented. Things aren't exactly offering much distraction either on the pitch. They were relegated last season with barely a fight, and they're now looking in danger of the dreaded double drop as they sit 23rd. It's weird, in our 1-24s we had them just outside the relegation zone, I think, but I backed them for relegation in terms of the actual bet, just based on the price, because I think it was a Mark O'Hare tweet. I can't remember the exact tweet, but the amount of teams priced 10-1 higher relegated is astonishing. I think it's only not happened up twice in the last 15 years or something. So I took Shrewsbury because of that, and sort of thankful I did at this point, because as we said in the magazine, Appleton's excelled at teams like Lincoln and where was he at as well? Oxford. He helped develop players like Brennan Johnson, Morgan Rogers, Kemar Roofe. Brilliant at that. Give him a squad like Shrewsbury where it's older players like Will Boyle, Sam Stubbs. He's not much use because he's just sort of he can't really mould them to be the players he wants them to be. And he's got a slow defence that's struggling, lacklustre attack, and just all over the place. Drew 0-0 at home to Bromley on opening day. They then got hammered 4-0 at Tranmere, lost 3-1 to Grimsby, lost 2-0 at home to Colchester, just got dismantled 4-1 at Notts County. 11 goals conceded in 3 away games across all competitions. They face a Swindon side who have had a mixed start to the season. They had a blip midweek at home to Barnet, losing 2-0 at home, but they've already beaten Cambridge 3-2. And yeah, they've got goals in them, and I think Holloway will get a reaction out of his team, and I think he'll want to put on a show to prove that his side are worthy of the top 7, sort of the top 7 tag that a lot of people have put on them. So yeah, expect a reaction from Swindon against the Shrewsbury side, who are awful. So yeah, 3+ goals at 4, 4+ goals at 11, 1 point and half a point.
I love it. And what price did you get Shrewsbury at to go down then?
I think it was like 10-1.
He's lovely, because I saw a tweet that both of the sides to finish bottom in or come down from League One have finished. I don't know if it was both the sides to finish bottom in League One, then finish bottom in League Two, Carlisle and Forest Green across the last 2 seasons. But yeah, I'm just looking at Shrewsbury to finish bottom 7-1. You got 10-1 on them to go down.
Yeah,
what a bet!
I've got like a 6-fold, I think it is, or like across various leagues. I've got like Shrewsbury and Cheltenham to go down in the same bet. Double like in like 5 folds of like York to win the league, Chesterfield top 3. I realise that's 3 from the same league. Oh well, but yeah, I've got like loads of bets involving Shrewsbury and Cheltenham to go down, and they're the current bottom 2. So a lot of cash outs and healthy positions.
You are the best. That's all your bets, isn't it? I've got one more in the Prem. I'm going back in on Xhaka. Sunderland side are playing Burnley. You can get him at 4.75, so 15-4 bet 365. I'm having half a point on that. I'm also chucking half a point on him and Hannibal Medjbury to be carded 14-1 bet 365, so half a point on each of those. And I thought it was too big against West Ham last week. The game, as it panned out, just wasn't competitive enough for cards, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'm just blagging it, to be honest. Bottom line is, Xhaka got loads of cards last time here in the Premier League with Arsenal. 7 yellows, 4 reds. It's 226 Premier League appearances now. So he's come back as the captain. I don't think he's turned over a new leaf. I don't think he's older and wiser and more disciplined. I think the cards are going to come. So that's why I'm going back in on this. But I forgot. I almost forgot to even check this price. But when I did, I remembered how many cards were there between the top 4 in the Championship last season. It was nuts. I can't believe I almost forgot. There were 12 in the 2 league meetings when these met last season. One of them were red card, and there were controversy the last time they met at Turf Moor. 2 late penalties. Wilson Isidore missed them both, or should I say James Trafford saved them both. And this, even though we're only the second game in, 2 promoted sides, both of them will feel like this is a must-win if they're going to stand any chance of survival, because you look at the quality of the league. I know there's perhaps 10 teams in the top flight that you could make a case for, potentially going down, but 3 up, 3 down, it's been the case for the last 2 seasons. So you've got to win these games if you're going to get anywhere near 30, 40 points. That, and how the meetings last season went, should give this one a bit of needle. Referee's not the best. I ain't got his name written down, but I know he's averaged just under 4 per game in his career. But yeah, it's more to do with the fact how the games last season went, how important this game is this season, Xhaka's record, and his price is just too big, I think. I might get proven wrong in the next few weeks, but Xhaka to be carded 15-4. I've also chucked him in a double with the old pod favourite Hannibal Medjbury at 14, half a point on that as well.
You've reminded me, going to the Prem, that I missed out a bet.
Another one?
Yeah, I know. Palace play Forest on Sunday, and there's going to be a lot of needle, I think, with obviously all the off the pitch drama. I reckon there's going to be something on the day that happens. Forest chairman gets banned from Selhurst Park on the day, or something happens. I can just see him turning up and being locked out. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of needle. Taylor's in charge, and he famously can lose control of games. So just doing a standard card ladder of 3 cards each at 6 for a point, 4 cards each at 23 for half a point, and 5 cards each at 126 for half a point.
Nice. Right, sorry. For me, more than anything, 3 cards each, 5 to 1, yeah?
Yeah,
4 plus cards each, 22 to 1.
yeah,
5 cards each.
125 to 1.
Lovely. And it's half a point on each of the 2 bigger price ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. I'm glad you remembered that one. And it's just, completely flew under my radar, the backdrop of this game. So it's Palace got in the Europa League at the expense. No, Forest got in the Europa League at the expense of Palace, weren't it? Palace have had to drop down to the conference.
Owners hate each other, and I think there'll be a bit. It's a fucking weak club anyway, so there'll be some sort of protest and a lot of anti-UEFA protest from Palace, I can imagine, and Forest fans will lap that up, and it will sort of be quite a. With Settlers Park, it's not going to be a hostile atmosphere, but it'll be two teams who have hated each other over the summer, and it would not surprise me if it was something out of WWE where I can't pronounce his name, Marincast or whatever it is, turns up at Sellers, tries to get in and is banned from the stadium. So I think something's going to go down. So I think I want to lock in the card prices.
Nice. And if we remember, we'll see how we feel. I feel like that stinks of a newsletter. Maybe Sunday morning for some player cards.
That and the Liverpool Newcastle game, we can have a couple cross game doubles, I reckon.
Hell yeah. Right, so, because there's some nice bit of needle with the Isak saga, so make sure you subscribe. I think the link to that is pinned on the Bunch of Punts Twitter, because we'll have a couple of bonus newsletters with some fat card prices coming up this weekend. That's all our bets. Do you want to recap them before we go?
Yeah, so from non-league, I've got Solihull to win and both teams score against Aldershot. Hampton and Richmond to beat Dagenham and Redbridge, Hemel Hempstead to beat Dorking, and Ebbsfleet to win and both teams score no against Slough. Swindon Shrewsbury, I've got over 2 goals for Swindon at 4s for a point, and then over 3 goals at 11's half a point. Swamley to score for Bromley against Notts County at 13's half a point. Grimsby and both teams to score at 5's half a point. Sorba Thomas assist at Southampton for Stoke at 11's a point, and a point on Kayembe card at 4's for Watford.
Lovely stuff. I have got Scott Twine to score from outside the box on Friday night. Derby v Bristol City in the Championship, half a point at 14 to 1 with Bet365. Burnley v Sunderland to be carded 15 to 4, half a point with Bet365. Xhaka and Hannibal Medjbury both to be carded 14 to 1, half a point, same firm. Early kick-off in League 2, Newport v MK Dons. I'm covering both centre backs for MK Dons, so that's Sanders and Luke Offord to score at any time. Half a point on each of those. Sanders 14 to 1 with Sky Bet, Offord 9 to 1 with 365. Millwall to win to 0. They go to Sheffield United in the Championship. Bet Victor. That's at 11 to 2, 11 to 2, sorry, half a point, Bet Victor. I've already said that. Half a point on over 4.5 goals in Plymouth against Blackpool. That's at 13 to 2 with Bet Victor. And I've also done Bromley to win 2-0 at 11 to 2. Half a point on that. We've also done a rogue one, didn't we? Notts County Bromley. Bromley to win 1-0.
It feels good, we're back in business.
Some long shots again, and if you subscribe to our newsletter, we're probably going to get really silly with a couple of cross-game card player multi-combo, whatever you want to call them. We should, if we remember, famous last words, but if we remember, that should be in your inbox sometimes on Sunday. Matthew, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure as always.
Yeah, so just to recap, we'll have Lock of the Week sometime tomorrow. Maybe a couple of bonus long shots cards in those 2 needly games, Sunday, Monday in the Prem, and we'll be back probably same time next Thursday. So best of luck with all your bets until then, and we'll catch you on the Flippity Flip.